God doesn't care what things look like, but what they really are. See, we are consumed with what things look like. In fact, if most of us were honest, we probably care more about our reputation than our character. Because our reputation is what other people think we are, but our character really is what we are. God sees the reality. See, this whole thing started at a banquet, at a party that lasted 180 days. And the king is bragging about his awesomeness, how amazing he is. And then he goes in and gets however many women that come in, and they get a year's worth of beauty treatments. So the most beautiful women in the area get a year's worth of beauty treatments. I have no idea what they're doing. I know that my wife and other women have said that, it takes a lot longer for a woman to get ready, but a year? I'm going to have to ask some questions because, what's going on? What's going on in that year? So what we find here in this culture is this. The bragging of the king, we know that in this culture, if you are a man, the only thing that really matters about you is your finances and your influence. And if you're a woman, the only thing that really matters about you is your beauty and your sexual prowess. Could you imagine living in a culture like that? Thousands of years later, things haven't really changed very much. That's the amazing thing about the Word of God. It is just as relevant then as it is now. Still relevant. But the world says that your stuff matters more than you do. That the skin color matters more than your character. Your looks matter more than your heart. You only have value in this culture if you go through the world's beauty treatments. Think about that for a moment. For them to be ready, they have to go through a year's worth of their beauty treatments. And that's the same now. But in our culture, maybe it looks differently. Maybe your beauty treatments is that you have to have this certain degree to have value. Maybe you have to get to this certain rank in the military before you have value. Maybe you have to look specifically like this to have value. If you look throughout history, the ideal beauty changes. So you'll often hear people in history being beautiful, and then when we see pictures or paintings of them, we're like, really? Really? I've seen what they think Cleopatra looks like, and I'm like, I don't understand. But the world's constantly changing. Now, our ideal beauty is you can't even reach the ideal beauty without surgery to make it happen. So there's no real way you can get there. I've said this before, but in Hollywood where we lived, you had people, men and women, not just breast implants. We're talking calf implants and ab implants and pec implants and, yes, booty implants. Why? Because you are what you look like. And in fact, the ideal beauty is such a way that you can't actually be that without selling out just to that and then add on top of that some surgery that costs $6,000 to $12,000. I've seen all my life people who have picked jobs because it gives them rank and power and influence, and they really don't even care what they're doing. This is how you get teachers who hate their job. This is how you get doctors and lawyers who really don't care about anything. This is why you see people who are often, and this is one factor, not the only factor, why it often leads to depression, anxiety, fear, and anger because they've chosen a job for status and not really what God has called them to. It's gone against what they desire and what they are. They're just doing it because it looks good. We do that all the time. What it means is we're acting like the world's concubines. We're getting ready. We only have value if we go through these beauty treatments. And then if the king chooses me, we have value.